Hello friends, in this video I am going to show you how to install Postal step by step in 2021. So let's get started. I have been receiving several requests to make videos on Postal and Mautic. So here this video is on Postal and very soon I will create one video on Mautic as well. So what is Postal? Postal is open source freeware software. You can download it from GitHub and install it to make your own server, own SMTP server, just like MailGrid, MailChimp or SendGrid, any of them, those popular email service provider. So you can have your own emailing solution where you can send unlimited emails and there will be no restrictions at all. So let's get started with that. Alright guys, I am on my computer screen and now let's start the process. So first of all, requirement for Postal SMTP server. The first requirement is Postal itself, and then you will need a domain name and a VPS or cloud hosting. So I have domain name registered from Namecheap. You can get it from anywhere, and for VPS or cloud I am using Contabo. And I have installed Ubuntu 18.04. You have to note that only Ubuntu 18.04 will work at this time. In future there might be update of Postal and then you would be able to install it on later version of Ubuntu. Also, if you like to save some money on buying domain name and buying hosting, you can go and check the deal section of inGuide, and here you will find deals and promo codes on various service providers. Now if you are on Windows operating system, then you would need a special SSH client to connect to your Linux server, and here I recommend getting Putty. It's a simple, open source and very lightweight. So you select which version would you like to install, like 32, 64. I already have Putty on my computer, but let me download it and show it to you. Okay, so on first run Putty will look like this. Now here you have to paste the IP address. So let me get the IP address. Okay, here it is. Alright. Now you will get this security warning. Select yes and then type your username root and the password. Now you can see a Contabo logo here. This means I have successfully connected to remote server. Let me make it bigger. Appearance. Alright, so next go back to this article, and the very first thing we are going to do is to update the operating system, that is update the Ubuntu 18.04. So all done. Next is to set the host name. So copy this command and here don't forget to put your domain with your domain name. So now if I type host name, you could see host name is set. Next, updating DNS records. So go back to your DNS registrar and there you will find manage DNS. In manage DNS you will able to create records. So here on Namecheap you go to advanced tab, and in advanced tab here you see I have one record already created. Let me show you how to create record. So click on a record and here in host name mail and then value, get the IP address. So this is the IP address, copy it, paste, and then inside TTL, if you want your DNS updates to be propagated as soon as possible, then make it as lower as possible. So I am going to select 1 minute and then save changes will save the change. Basically I already have this one record, same record, so it didn't show up here. Okay, let's go back to this article. Now it's time to install MariaDB. So just copy the command and execute it. Now while this database is getting installed, let's get ready with the next command. Installing Postal is fairly complex, but I have prepared a set of commands which you need to execute in order to install Postal server. Now one more thing I would like to add here, your system should have like 8 GB of RAM at least, because Postal is quite resource consuming script. It uses Ruby, RabbitMQ and all those dependencies. They are basically, they need a good resource. Okay, it is certainly going to take some time. Now it's done. Let's execute the next command. Now here I already have answered all these questions. So in current password for root none, set root password yes, and let me make it stronger. Okay, now new password, re-enter password, remove anonymous user yes, disallow root login yes, remove test database yes, reload privileges table now yes. Alright, so next I am going to create a MySQL database. Alright, here you need to enter the password, copy it from here, and then create a Postal database. Alright, database created. Next, create Postal user. Now here you have to note that in database password, here I have typed your password that you should replace. Alright, so let me copy it and so after that press enter. Next, grant all privileges, enter, and then quit. Alright, so now database is installed, database user has been created, database is also created. Next it's time to install Ruby and RabbitMQ. So let's execute the first command. Now let's copy next one. Alright, this is going to add repository. Okay, here press enter. Let me copy the next command in the meantime. Alright, so finally I am going to install Ruby. Okay, let's copy next command. You know, RabbitMQ is used to queue messages. That's why we need to install RabbitMQ. Alright, installation finished. Let's execute this. Okay, now copy this one. Alright, once again update the system and let's install Erlang. Okay, let's get ready with next command. Basically you have to execute all those commands and it will install Postal on your Ubuntu 18.04. I'll be uploading more videos on building SMTP server, so I would like you guys to be here, so don't forget to subscribe. You could have to wait for some time. This Erlang takes really good amount of time to get installed. Okay, now the installation of Erlang is finished. Let's execute the next command and then copy the next one. Alright, copy next one. Fine. It's time to update it. And finally, okay, now install RabbitMQ server. Then we are going to check the status of RabbitMQ server, whether it's running or not. So far so good. Okay, now let's check the status. Okay, you could see that RabbitMQ server is running. That's very good. Now if you get any error with RabbitMQ server, then you have to check whether your host name is set or not. As you could see, like my host name is appearing here. If your host name is not set, then you could get error with the RabbitMQ. Okay, so next create virtual host. And then add postal user. Now here you can set the password. So password. Alright. Now it's time to grant the permission. Permission granted. Next, install Nodejs. Nodejs installed. Now it's time to install Postal. Alright, so next command, and then to enable Ruby to listen on web ports, execute the next command, and then you have to install bundler. Okay, gem install bundler, then copy the next command. Hold it. Okay. Now it's done. So gem install crocodile. Next Nokogiri. Next install git. This Nokogiri could take a while, so you can take a break and come back later. Now Nokogiri is installed. Let's install git with next command. In the meantime, let's copy the next command. Alright. Now it's time to get Postal. And after that we are going to extract it. Alright, this done. It's time to change the ownership of Postal directory and then create the symlink. Very well. And then install all the required dependencies. Alright, this error was expected. It is because my magic just got updated to 0.3.6. So I have basically prepared set of command you needed to execute to address this issue. So let's execute that one by one. In the meantime, get ready with next command. Alright, let's copy the next command. Okay, it's done. Let's copy the next command and then generate the postal configuration file. And now open the postal configuration file. Now here you have to make changes as per your environment in these fields. So let's begin. First of all, host name. In host name type mail.inguide.site, and next here if you remember, database user is postal user, and we did change the password for database user, and let me copy and paste it here. And database is database itself, again postal user, and then password. Alright, coming down here once again postal user and password. RabbitMQ username is postal and password is password. WORD. Let me check once again everything is correct. So yeah, here in main database, username postal user, database postal, password correct. In here message database, username postal user, password correct, prefix postal. Okay, now here username postal and password password. If you could remember, let me show it to you. Like we added one user. Here you can see RabbitMQ, we added user postal with password. So that is here you have to specify. Now if you scroll down further, here you have to set all the records necessary, starting with MX records. So here in MX record, also if you note that a link to GitHub is provided here, where you will find all the steps and necessary records you have to create for postal. So here you can see, like you have to create A records, we already did that, and then SPF record and return path, and finally here in MX records you see how you have to create how you have to configure postal.yml file. So let's do that. Here I am going to type mail.inguide.site. Okay, here is some error, let me fix it. And then again let me copy this host name. Alright, paste it here, and in SPF, okay, first return path and SPF, then in root, and then track. Alright, so all done. Let's save this file. Okay, one thing I have to do is to email address, I have to mention it here. If you like, you can change from name, but let it be as it is for the time being. Here you would like to check whether everything is in place and all the configuration, means all the part has been configured. Then save it, Ctrl+X, yes. Alright, so next I am going to initialize postal. So for that command is postal initialize. Very good. And then next is to make the postal user. So command is postal make user. Alright, so here you have to enter the email address. So admin@inguide.site. Very well. Now you have to enter the name, first name, last name, the password. This is the admin password, so enter it. Okay, now it's done. So next I'll start the postal. Command is simple postal start, and to check the status, postal status, you see postal is running. Okay, now postal stop. I am going to stop it for the time being because I have to create one system MD service. So let's create it. Copy these lines, paste it, and then save. Alright, next reload the daemon and then start and enable postal. Alright, so let's check the status. Here you can see postal is running. Now you have to install and configure Nginx. Alright, it could take some time. Okay, next command and then next command, and then next command to generate self-signed SSL certificate. Alright, enter your country name. My country India, so IN, and then state or province name, and then city name. Alright, then the organization name, that company name, organizational unit, and finally your name or fully qualified domain name. I'm just going to type my name. Email address, so we have created one email address. Let's type that one. Alright, so next let's edit the Nginx config file, and here in server name you have to make changes. Here type your fully qualified domain name, or in other words host name, mail.inguide.site. Now okay, here in server once again the host name, let me paste it. Very well, next save it, and yeah, this next line shows what changes you have to make in the above command, in the above configuration file. And let's restart the Nginx. Done. Now go to the web interface, mail.inguide.site. Here privacy error obviously because certificate is self-signed, and then here postal is successfully installed. Now log in with your email address and the password. Now we are here. So this is how you install postal, and in next video I am going to show how to install SSL certificate. Let's encrypt SSL certificate, as well as I'll show you how you can create organizations, how to add domains, how to create your first SMTP, and all the things you need to successfully run postal. And see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.